The European Court of Justice in the Laval case restricted the right to strike of workers and their trade unions. In Sweden in this particular instance, but of course it applies to other member states as well. And they did this in defence of the freedom of companies to provide cross-border services. The following case, the Ruffer case, involved the restrictions on the right of a state government to enforce collective agreements within its area of jurisdiction. The Luxembourg Agreement went further in that it restricted the right of a national government, in this case the government of Luxembourg, to have national labour laws protecting foreign workers working in their country. Again, they saw it as a restriction on the freedom to provide cross-border services by foreign companies. The upshot of this will be that, and these judgments, remember, also apply in the Irish situation, and will, if we pass the Lisbon Treaty, certainly have primacy over Irish law. The result of that will be that cross-border providers in the Irish situation will be obliged, essentially under the law, to pay no more than the statutory minimum wage in Ireland. The effects of the recent ECJ judgments on workers' rights can be seen in an Irish context by looking at a Labour Court judgment in the recent dispute involving electricians and their national strike. The court said in that judgment that the freedom of foreign contractors to provide services in Ireland under the European treaties at the same rates, terms and conditions of employment as applied in their country of origins was reasonably, if not absolutely clear. What this means is that we are in a position, as a result of these ECJ judgments, where we will be forced in a race to the bottom, a race to the minimum wage. If we accept the Lisbon Treaty, the Charter of Fundamental Rights becomes the legal basis for our rights. The Charter of Fundamental Rights makes it very clear in Article 52 and the explanations there too that the interests of the market takes priority over the interests of individual citizens. In other words, we're allowing for a situation where our rights can be varied in the interests of the market. And the European Court of Justice in Luxembourg will overrule the Irish Supreme Court in any question such as this. Irish people who would have a problem about the enforcement of their fundamental or human rights would normally take their cases against the Irish government to the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg. Under the Lisbon Treaty, those cases would be taken to the European Court of Justice, but they could also still be taken to the European Court of Human Rights. However, though the European Union recognises and will recognise through the Lisbon Treaty the jurisdiction of the European Court of Human Rights, it will only accept those judgments which do not diminish or restrict its power or diminish the competence of the Union. That places a restriction on our fundamental rights which is totally unacceptable.